Are we supposed to manually delete the contents of /tmp? I was under the impression that old files in /tmp will be regularly deleted. However, it seems to me that /tmp will just grow as long as it wants to, and nothing will be deleted. Some people say it's better to leave /tmp alone and delete its contents only if the disk is getting full. My question is /tmp really designed to not take care of itself? What are the best practices?
To answer the questions. Is /tmp supposed to be emptied automatically? Yes. Are we supposed to delete files in /tmp regularly and manually? No, your system will take care of them. If you may ask yourself, can I delete files from /tmp for whatever reason, need space, want to remove traces, etc.? It depends, read on. File System Hierarchy Standard, FHS, states. The /tmp directory must be made available for programs that require temporary files. Programs must not assume that any files or directories in /tmp are preserved between invocations of the program. /var/tmp/ has a similar purpose, but must not be deleted during reboot. It is not guaranteed that /tmp/ or /var/tmp/ are cleaned up on a regular basis. This may depend on your distribution and settings, although most systems do some cleanup from time to time. See comment by Mike. If you need to delete a file in /tmp, see first if the file is in use. You can do this easily with. If you have rights to do so, this will show the process holding the handle to that file, like process name, PIN and type of the file. To show really all processes, prepend sudo or run as user root. We'll show you all files in /tmp and directories below, +d, that are currently open. Of course you should not delete these files. In fact, when you delete a file that is still opened, if you have the rights to do so, it becomes inaccessible from the file system namespace, but it still exists for the processes that have an open file handle for it. After closing that handle, the file is not accessible for that process anymore, and if no process has the file opened anymore, it is finally deleted. A process should not suppose that the file survives between subsequent open calls, but programmers are sloppy, and you never know. For that reason, it's not that clever to delete files that are still in use by some programs.
I think this is OS variant dependent. I'd imagine that /tmp is typically cleared on reboot, and indeed it would not be safe for the system to clean itself up mid-session, as it won't know what files are active. If you are brave, you might want to throw a command into crontab which deletes files older than a certain age, but this might cause some issues if it deletes files still used. You might try a command, I have not tried it, like, which will theoretically remove all files under /tmp older than 10 days.
Distributions are different, of course, but I'd expect temporary files to be managed automatically by the system out of the box. They'd likely use either cron jobs or the system temp files clean service. If you're worried about disk space, this is a useful command to take a look at how much space each root folder is taking. To see if your system is using the systemd service for managing temporary files, you can just try. At the bottom you would see something like the following, which tells you when the service was last run. Note that this service will exit as soon as it's done with the cleanup. A timer service is responsible for regularly triggering it. You can check it with, and you should expect something like the following. If you look again at the actual service responsible for cleaning the files, you'll see that all it does is run. So you could either run that command directly, or to do it properly, just do, which will run the appropriate command for your system. However, you should be aware that this is not a delete all temporary files now command. There are several configuration files that control what actually gets deleted and when, so that applications can individually configure their temporary files. One place to look for generic handling of temporary files could be /use of /lib/temp-files.d/tmp.conference, which might have the following relevant lines. You could change those to a shorter time, if your system keeps running out of space, for example, 2. To be sure of what you're doing, do man temp-files.d to read the manual. Again, I have found the approach presented here to be relevant on a CentOS, Red Hat based, and an Ubuntu system, but I don't know much about other distributions.
On CentOS there's a job in /etc/cron.daily called tempwatch, which will recursively remove files which haven't been accessed for a given time. Normally, it's used to clean up directories which are used for temporary holding space such as /tmp. This is the /etc/cron.daily/tempwatch script. /tmp directory contents get deleted only when system reboots, because running process may have accessing files from that directory.